Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Fire with Dr. Ninja Turtle. In this live, I am going to talk about how to get your annual credit report. This is my second attempt at this live, just so you know. I am so if you're serious about financial freedom, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications for more financial related content. And what we're going to talk about here is we're going to talk about your annual credit report. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, hi T, good morning. I'm going to go through my credit report. I'm going to actually log in. I'm on my phone on live, but on my computer, I'm going to log in and go through from annualcreditreport.com. And it says here that this is the only source for your free credit reports. Do not be fooled by other credit report things that say they'll offer you a free credit report. A lot of scams are out there. So what we're doing here is I'm on this first page and I'm going to go ahead and click request your free credit report. Now also remember that you can type FIRE into the chat and it will share out your name. Hi Faith, good morning. So if you type FIRE in the chat, it will share out your channel name. What I'm doing today is I am going through the 3 steps here. It says to get your free online credit report. So 1, you fill out the form. 2, you pick the reports you want. And 3, request and review your reports online. So before you get your credit reports, you'll just have to answer a few questions. And the questions are meant to be hard. They may even need your records to answer them because they want to make sure that you are the person that you are. And you have to repeat these steps for each credit report. So I'm only going to go through one credit report today. We'll see if I can get through it. I should be able to answer all the questions, even if it's asking me history questions. And so it says that your free annual credit report does not include credit scores. Monitoring your credit reports regularly is an important part of being in control of your finances. And so that's what I wanted to point out, that this is Adulting 101, checking your annual credit report. So I should have a poll. Give me 1 second. Well, I'm not going to have a poll. I will have a poll the next time I go live because I had to stop this live because of the orientation. And so we had to restart it. We're learning every single week how to do this. So we're going to get back to this credit report. I'm clicking on request my credit report. And so I'm filling out the information that it's asking me for. You all are doing this live with me, and this is why this is a live, because I wanted to test this without having done it beforehand and saying, oh, this is what you do, this is what you do. No, we are going through all of this together. And what I hope is that if you're not at your computer and doing this with me, that you'll watch the replay and do it on the replay. Because not everybody's available to do this right this second. I totally understand that. And so already it's telling me that apparently I hit some button that went to another screen before I finished filling out this screen. So I want you all to see how fast this can possibly be, or how long it could take. But so far, it's going fairly quickly. My mods are in the chat, so I'm not going to be looking over at the chat. Also, if you type fire in the chat, and my mods will tell you this a little bit later, so I'm not going to keep repeating it, that if you type fire in the chat, it will display your channel name, because I created a video on Nightbot and how to install Nightbot, so you can see that on my playlist. Okay, ready to hit next. Okay, so I made it through the first page. Now it's asking me which of the 3 credit bureaus do I want to choose? And it's giving me the option of all 3. However, it said that you can only choose one. So I'm only going to choose one. I'm not going to choose all 3. And down here at the bottom, it says a common question is, should you order all 3 reports now or spread them out over time? And I was going to talk about this later because I thought that this might be a question. And the answer is, it depends. If you are thinking about buying something big soon, a new car or even a home, you may want to get all of your credit reports now. That way you can connect any mistakes on all of them right away. If you are not planning a big purchase, requesting them over time might be a better choice. When you spread them out, watch for expected changes or suspicious activity throughout the year. And I've already mentioned this. You should always have your credit reports frozen. And so I should be able to pull my credit report even though it's frozen, because I am the owner of the credit report. But we'll see. So what I did was I chose one of the credit bureaus. Okay, it's going to ask me some more qualifying information here. Is processing my information. I had to put in a phone number and email. And because I'm on my cell phone, I'm choosing my email address to get the one-time code. And remember, we're all going through this at the same time. So again, it is processing my information, and you are live with me getting an annual credit report, because this is very important. These are the things that someone else, you want to know your credit and what it is before you go to a lender. Because when they tell you whether or not you're approved or declined, they're not going to tell you the reasons why. If you can believe this, I am already in my credit report. It was that easy. They didn't ask me any historical questions. They asked me for a one-time code that was sent to my email address. So here, we've been live for less than 10 minutes, and already I have my free credit report from a credit bureau. Now, what I can do with this is I can print the credit report, which I'll do, and I will print it to a PDF so that I can save it, because I save everything to a PDF. But the reason that I wanted to do this live was to just walk through these steps to show everyone just how easy it is to get your annual credit report. Now, this says that this is my credit report as of June 27th, which is today, so everything's totally up to date. I have an average account age of 11 years and 5 months. It says that my credit status, okay, so let's see, Kindy K is saying, thanks to two-factor authentication, you can get your annual credit report. And so this does show that my credit file status is security freeze. And that's what I want to recommend to everyone. Freeze all 3 of your reports. It's free to do. And whenever you need someone to check it, you can temporarily unfreeze it. And my length of credit history, 28 years and 8 months. So I'm just reading some of the summary information that you get from a credit bureau. Now, I didn't do all 3, but if you do all 3, then you can have all of the credit reports. So within 10 minutes, we have walked through all of this information. And so what do you look for on your credit report? You want to look for any collections, right? I don't have any accounts in collections. But there are tabs to the left where you can look up whether or not you have anything in collections. And you just click on that tab on the left. Some of the items in your credit report is they give you a summary. Then there are revolving accounts, mortgage accounts, installment accounts, other accounts, consumer statements, personal information, inquiries, public records. And and then it says collections, and I clicked on collections, and there's nothing here in collections. That was not always the case, but today there's nothing here in collections. Also, with this credit bureau, it has a link to dispute. So if you wanted to dispute something on your credit, you could go right here online. Now, there are people that recommend that you write the letter, and they say maybe that's more effective. But I'm just telling you, within this credit bureau, you have a dispute button right there in your credit report. And you saw that it took me less than 10 minutes, because I am not the fastest typer, so it took me less than 10 minutes to get my free annual credit report. And that's why I wanted to do this live today. I am going to get into the chat in a few minutes and take questions, but and I tried to have a poll, and I had things set up, but when you rotate the camera to this horizontal, that part of my plan this morning did not work. So I had to stop that live and start another live. So the next time I do this, I will know what to do in advance to get this horizontal live to work. So the topics that we covered today are how to access your credit report by choosing either Experian, TransUnion, or Equifax, what to look for on your credit report, and what to do if you spot an error. That's what we were trying to cover today. So make sure you like and subscribe to my channel, because I am going to do these lives on financial freedom and those related topics every single Friday. Having said that, I'm going to miss next Friday because I'll be on vacation. However, I'll be back in 2 weeks, and I'll put a community post out talking about when I'm coming back. But it will be Fridays at 10:15 a.m. Central Standard Time, and we'll have another topic in 2 weeks. But what we're doing today is we're talking about your annual credit report. And I am in my annual credit report, which took less than 10 minutes to get into. All I had to do was tell them my phone number, my email address, which one to send the link to. They sent me the code. I put in the code, and it opened up my credit report. In the past, I've had it where it asked me what address is associated with you in 1997. What type of car did you have? I'm going to drink coffee because now my throat's starting to go. It asked me, what kind of car did you own in 2007? What type of motorcycle did you buy in 2007? I was prepared to answer those questions, and it did not ask me those questions. I also had my driver's license sitting here on my desk just in case, because I did not know what was going to happen, and I did not know how easy this was. But I wanted to show you so that hopefully you'll go home, and within the next 2 weeks while I'm on vacation and when I get back, I hope that you have checked your free annual credit report within the next 2 weeks. Then you can come back and say, I found XYZ on my report. Could I dispute that? Or maybe you'll already have disputed it. And I'm not asking you to come up here and tell us what's on your credit report. But what I'm saying is that you can come back to the live in a couple weeks and say, I checked my credit report. And as I said, this is Adulting 101. And what I want to say is that if you don't look at your credit report, the lenders will. And I said that before. If you don't look at it before they do, surprises can happen. Now, I'm pretty old, so I don't have a whole lot on my credit report. I paid off my car, I paid off my motorcycle. I don't have a whole lot of outstanding items. But let's go look at where it says mortgage accounts. Because I'm curious. I am curious. I want to know, and here's the question. Thank you, Majestic, for putting your link in there by typing fire. So I wanted to know, when I looked at mortgage accounts, and this is a valid question, how many mortgages are in there? Because I have rental properties and I have a primary residence. The only one that I see is my primary residence. I did not know that my rental properties are not listed on my credit report with this particular credit bureau. That is good information to know. And these are the reasons that you come in and look at your annual credit report so that you know what's in there, what is not in there. And I have a number of rental properties, but they are in a business, and that business is an LLC, so therefore they are not on my credit report because they're not in my personal name. And that's the reason that my rental properties are not listed here. If I had bought them in my personal name, which you can buy up to 10 properties in your personal name, then they would be on the credit report. But because I have them inside of a business, they're not here. But I wanted to click on that mortgage accounts just to see. So yes, it just shows my primary, and that's it. Consumer statements. Okay. So under consumer statements, no, I clicked on revolving accounts instead of consumer statements. But anyway, it shows my different credit card accounts. Okay, it's only showing 2. I think I have 3, but I don't know. It's only showing 2. And it's showing the 2 that I have a very, very tiny balance on. If anybody ever can get to those cards, they're going to be sorely disappointed. And that's the reason that I keep a very small balance on those cards. It's because, for security reasons, I do not want anyone to be able to steal one of my cards and get away with thousands and thousands of dollars. At best, you're going to get $200 or $300 out of me. Okay, that's if you can get to my card. So that's just me. I'm very paranoid about security, and I want to make sure that if I'm shopping on Amazon, you're not getting, and you break into my card, you are not getting more than $200. That's it. And I'll get that back, but you are not going to go buy a big screen TV using my credit cards on Amazon. It's just not going to happen. So anyway, now you guys are starting to see what an old fuddy-duddy guy I am, because I'm just paranoid about security, especially about my credit, because I've had to rebuild my credit over the years. And so we have been live for 19 minutes. I've checked my credit report. I've gone through various items on my credit report. I'm going to look in the chat and see if anyone has questions while I still have my credit report open. And Kendi has a good point, which is the higher your credit score, the lower your interest rates. And I've talked about that before. I had a very good credit score. So the last 4 or 5 cars that I bought, which were all Honda Accords, I just have this thing for Honda Accords. Honda financing had 0.9% interest for people who were rebuying other Hondas and trading in their Hondas and who had excellent credit. So I went in there, and when I got that first car for 0.9%, I cried because my credit was so bad in the past. I could not believe that somebody was giving me a car at 0.9%. So then I went to get a second car and then a third car. And I walked into the dealership and I said, I want that 0.9% interest rate. And the guy said, oh, hey, wait a minute, guy. You got to have excellent credit to get that particular deal. I said, that's it. Otherwise, I won't buy the car. Because I knew I had excellent credit. I'm going to keep my eye down here for the chat because as I'm trying to look over here, I'm not looking over here at the chat. Does anyone have a question? Now, I have to tell y'all, this is my first time doing the video horizontal. The chat comes up and goes away. When it's vertical, the chat stays there so that you can come in and go through the chat. I am going to see, you guys go ahead and talk amongst yourselves. Okay, I see Life with T said, you definitely want the lowest interest rate possible to pay less over time. And you should have said 0.5% to the sales guy. Well, they didn't have a 0.5%. The lowest that they had was 0.9. So it wasn't even 1% interest. So all of my last 5 or 6 cars, I've paid almost no interest at all. And I mean, I paid them off over time, but I've paid almost 0 interest. So what I'm trying to do is, you guys give me a moment. And spouse wife says, never leave money on the table. You guys talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to try and figure something out on my YouTube channel here on my computer. And then I'm going to go back to my credit report, and hopefully they keep it open for a while. One of the things at the top, it says, get your next report or finish. And so I may go in and get my next report, but right now I'm printing this so that I have at least this one printed because I had not printed it. Everyone give me, please excuse me, I have a sniffle, but I'm not leaving my camera. So once I try and work on my YouTube, because I want to see my live while I'm here, and I'm going to figure out how to get into this. Okay, I am viewing myself live, and now I can see the chat because I wanted to be able to see the chat on my computer so at least I can keep up with the chat. All of this that I'm learning with YouTube, I learn every single week. And this week I learned how to do horizontal lives. I made a mistake at the beginning, which I'll make notes, and then I'll fix this for my next horizontal live. But every single week, this week I learned how to do Nightbot. And so not to get off of the credit report stuff because I want to stay focused on that, but I want to tell you all that I am a new YouTube creator and that I am learning every single week how to improve on YouTube. And I was starting to learn how to have YouTube up on my computer and on my cell phone, which is also new for me this week. So now I have that fixed. So I can see the chat. If you have a question, type the word question in all caps, and I'll see if I can. Oh, I see one. Kendi K has a question. Do you check your credit union your credit union for better interest rates? I'm going to say for me, and I should have had a poll in here. I had a poll ready to go, but whole nother story. We'll fix that in a future live. And the credit poll was, have you checked your credit report this year? Yes, no, or no, but I plan to check it soon. So please put one of those answers in the chat. And so as Kendi K asked, do you check your credit union? I only deal with credit unions. I do not deal with big banks. I deal with community banks or credit unions because they give you a loan a lot easier and faster than a big bank. And that's just something that real estate investors do so that, one, they stay local. I'm building relationships with a local bank. And also I'm building a relationship with my local credit union. And so I always have those. I have about 3 different credit unions from different places that I've lived around the country. And this is so funny. I'm seeing myself off to the side in delayed movements. My hands are moving in delayed fashion off to the side. These are new YouTuber things. So I am looking for more questions in the chat. I may have to scroll up in the chat too. And Spouse Wife says, please hit the like button. Thank you. And I'm glad that people are typing fire in the chat and putting their channels out there because we want to support each other. I'm going back to my credit report because we're going to stay focused in this live. Other accounts. Let's look at other accounts in my, now I had the revolving accounts, which was my credit cards, right? Under other accounts, it's showing my different credit unions that I belong to. Those are listed under other accounts. Let's check consumer statements. I have no consumer statements. Consumer statements are explanations of up to 100 words you can attach to your credit file to provide more information on an item you may disagree with or would like to provide details on. Consumer statements are voluntary and have no impact on your credit score. So a consumer statement, as you see, I just read that, is how you can dispute something that's on your credit report as like an explanation. I don't know if it goes to the lender, but it's within your credit report and you could say that up to 100 words. So then let's try inquiries. So I've had one hard inquiry, and this is because I normally don't have hard inquiries on my credit report, but I have this one hard inquiry, and this one is from September 9th. So September 9th was the last time that I had a hard inquiry. And I think I bought a rental property in February. Well, no, that wouldn't be that. I don't know why it would be in September 9th. Yeah, because September 9th would have been last year. So I have no idea. I have no idea what that hard inquiry was for because it doesn't tell you. All it tells you is the credit union that did it and the date that it was done. So last year in 2024, I didn't buy any rental properties. So I have no idea why anyone would do a hard inquiry. These are the reasons that you check your credit report. Now, granted, this hard inquiry is from my credit union. So I'm not thinking, oh, somebody else tried to establish credit in my name. One, I have my credit accounts frozen. I try to tell you that over and over again. But two, because I'm looking at my credit report, I can see it's from my credit union. And so that's why you always want to check your credit report. And I've mentioned this a little bit earlier. It took me less than 10 minutes of this live to go through and fill out whatever information they were asking for to get into my credit report for free. I've had a number of soft inquiries, which under inquiries, you have hard inquiries and you have soft inquiries. I have a number of soft inquiries. There's an Equifax update, does a soft inquiry. See, I was not aware that a credit bureau just randomly does soft inquiries. Not that a soft inquiry hurts your credit at all, but my point is, unless you're looking at your credit report, you don't realize that the credit bureaus are constantly in there looking at your credit on a regular basis. There is a whole number in here. I have Credit Karma, and they come in every once in a while, I guess, and do the soft inquiry so that I can go into Credit Karma and they can tell me what's happening. I'm going to go over to my other tab here and look at the chat. If you have a question, type question in all caps, and I'll try to see it. And I'll see if I can answer that today. We live today went into one of my credit bureaus and looked at my credit. And that's what I want everyone to do. It took less than 10 minutes, and it was very easy. All they did was send me to my email address the 6-digit code like you would if you were getting into your bank account or something. They sent me that 6-digit code to my email address. I put in the 6-digit code and poof, opened up my credit report. So it's not hard, and we should all do this. We should all do this, and I hope that by the time we come back in 2 weeks, that, and I asked this poll question, have you checked your credit report in less than 10 minutes? I would like to see a number of yeses, because your credit report is just the beginning. Last week, we talked about the 5 things you can do to improve your credit. And the first one, the first step one, was know your credit. Know where you start. Know what's on your credit reports so that, one, you can fix them, any errors that are there, and improve your credit. That's the first step. Step 2 was paying on time. And I'm not going to go through all 5 steps because I have another live last week on that. You can watch that. But I just wanted to point out that we are starting at step 1. And we will get to the other steps in future lives because we talked about all 5 last week. We are going to stay on fixing your credit because in order to build wealth, 1, you pay off your debt. 2, you ensure you have good credit. 3, you start to save and invest. And part of that is living on less than what you make. And I'm a person who lives on less than what I make. Some of you who've been following me for a while know that I'm trying to live on $900 a month. And that means I don't spend a lot of money. Do I have more than $900 a month coming in? Yes. But am I trying to live on $900 a month so that I can invest the rest towards building wealth? And part of that, again, is knowing what's on your credit report and having a clean credit report. I'm going through the chat and I'm looking for questions. And so I'm not seeing any questions. I'm still going through the chat, catching up. And Damo Straight, I'm glad you're here. Mommy Money Getter, I'm glad you're here. What I want to point out is there are many different ways to build wealth. You can build wealth through having good credit and borrowing money to buy rental properties at a good interest rate so that they're cash flowing. You can take equity loans out, and for that you need good credit. You know, the lender that I'm with, I am moving all my rental properties to one lender because right now it's spread out between 3 different institutions. To simplify my life in retirement, I am moving everything to one lender. But when I do that, that lender is going to check my credit and they're going to check the equity that I have in my rental properties. So your credit is critical. And that's why today we're looking at your free credit report and why it took less than 10 minutes to get your free credit report. So we still have everybody in the chat. I can see that. I'm going back to my credit report, and it talks about public records. Let me look under that statement. And there's nothing that I have under public records. It says, this section includes public records items for Equifax obtained from local, state, and federal courts through a third-party vendor, LexisNexis. So court judgments, let's talk about those. Court judgments could be here under public records in your credit report. You should know that. And that's why we are doing this today, of opening up our free credit report to see what all is in there. And I worked for the federal courts before I retired. So if you have a federal judgment, it's going to be in here. If you are trying to do business with someone, and let's say that you're starting a partnership or you want them to invest in your business, they can come and check here and see if you've been involved in any lawsuits. It's all in your credit report. And this is what makes it so important that you check your credit report. Don't forget to hit fire to share out your channel name, because my channel is all about helping other small YouTube creators or large YouTube creators, if anyone ever shows up here, to share their channel. And as I mentioned, I installed Nightbot this week. I had to figure it out, and I made a video to show you that in less than 10 minutes, you can install Nightbot for your lives. So I think that I have covered all of the information in this particular credit report. I could go on to get my next credit report. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to click on next credit report and see what happens. It says to return to annualcreditreport.com now, and then you start the process all over again. Because if you'll remember, I said at the beginning, for each credit report, and this was written on annualcreditreport.com, for each credit report, you have to come through individually, even though there was a checkbox, 3 checkboxes, and I thought you could pick all 3. I didn't want to do that because I didn't know how much time it would take to get my credit report. But as you see, it took less than 10 minutes, and it was super easy. I tell you what, before we finish this live, because I'm going to try to keep my lives to 1 hour. So it will be at 10:15 a.m. Central Standard Time every Friday, excluding next Friday when I'm on vacation, but regularly at 10:15 a.m. Central Standard Time on Fridays for 1 hour. And that's it. Because the reason that I chose an hour, I just wanted to share this with my community of owners here, is that I have a life in retirement. I am retired and I want to enjoy my retired life. I have meetings before this live goes live. I have meetings after this live. But I also want to go out in my yard and pick up sticks. So I am not doing YouTube as a job. I am doing YouTube so that I can help the homeless once I get monetized. And I am over 625 subscribers. Thanks to the friends that I've met in the last 3 weeks or month on YouTube. My channel was dead. It was going nowhere. I met these communities on YouTube, the Are You Locked In community and the Source Network. Those 2 communities, I'm just learning. They're teaching me how to do YouTube. And I'm experimenting. As you all saw today, my little experiment with the horizontal failed. However, next time I come back, I will get it right. So I'm going to do another credit report. And so it took me back to a page here, and I am seeing, this is just a page, but it's not the original page where home. So I'm clicking home. Okay, we are going through a different credit bureau, and we are going to try this one more time and see if it takes 10 minutes with a different credit bureau. And again, this is what happened the first time earlier in the live. The first time you click on Give Me My Free Credit Report, it says first you fill out the form, second, you pick the report you want, and 3, request and review your report online. So I was going to only do 1 credit report on this live. I'm going to try for 2. Let's see how we go here. So I click that. I'm going to fill out the form again. It's looking similar to the first form, so this may go as easy as the first one. And I hope there's not too much clicking in the on the live on the microphone. I'm trying to be quiet on my keyboard, but we will see. And again, all of this is experimental with me doing these lives and me being on my computer. This is the first time I've done this, so please have grace with me. I was going to do this joke with you all. I was going to start filling out my free credit report and start saying a fake social security number and see if everybody in the chat freaks out, but I didn't do it. But I wanted to tell you that I was planning to play that joke on you. Now, one of the questions that it asks after you put in your personal information is, have you lived at this address for 2 years or more? That is a common question. And because I've lived here more than 2 years, that may be the reason that I don't have all the extra questions that I was expecting about my past. That may be. This time I had an error. I have to go back and fix something here. I'm getting too comfortable here in front of the screen, so I'm not paying attention like I did on the very first credit report that I brought up. But if anybody's timing me, this is taking less than 10 minutes. And already I'm at the screen where I get to choose another report. So we're going to choose a different one. And what it said was, it said, we're sorry, a condition exists that prevents this credit union from being able to accept your request at this time. So that one did not work. The first one I chose did work. And so I am going back to annualcreditreport.com. They said, do not try any other link. Don't click a link in an email to get your free credit report. None of that. They said, type in your browser, www.freecreditreport.com. And so that's what I'm going to do to get back there. Give me a moment, something here isn't working right, and the website that it took me to is not looking like the website that I was on before. Because here's where I made my mistake, so I'm going to be honest with everyone. I typed in www.freecreditreport.com. Wrong, okay? You are to type in www.annualcreditreport.com. annualcreditreport.com. So remember that, annualcreditreport.com, not freecreditreport.com. So I made a mistake. I went to a website and it doesn't look like the website I was on. So I was like, I know I'm in the wrong place. 1 second while I get myself back together here. And this is my thing about going live, is I wanted to show you all what a regular person does trying to get their annual credit report. So don't go to any other website unless it says annualcreditreport.com. And you will see it says, and it has only underlined in red. It says the only source for your free credit reports, authorized by federal law. And there are a couple of green boxes on this page, and that's how you'll know you're on the right page, that say request your free credit reports. So I scroll to the bottom of the document, and that's where I see a green box that says request your free credit reports. So I still have a few minutes before my hour is up. So we're going to try the third credit bureau. We got one. One said it couldn't. And see, my address is still populated from the last time that I came in here, which saves me time. The only thing I have to type in is my city, but my state, my zip code, and my address are already here. And as I start to type my city, it's in the drop down. So it does try to keep the information and try to make this as easy on you as possible when you're getting your credit report. The first time that I got my credit report earlier in the live only took less than 10 minutes. The second credit report, which we tried a few minutes ago, said it wasn't available at this time and told me to write a letter to that particular credit bureau. We are going for credit bureau number 3. Okay, this one is saying, thank you for selecting this. Okay, so now it's asking me, this credit bureau is asking me to verify information displayed is accurate. And then again, it's asking for my email and my phone number. And so all the information is accurate, and it does not show your whole social security number on this page, but it's asking me for my email address so that I can maybe get that code that it gave me earlier. And I can't use my phone because I'm on my phone on the live. Hopefully it'll ask me which one I want to send it to. Okay, now we accept and continue. You all are doing this live with me. And so I am really in real time trying to go in here and get my free credit report. Well, this one may not work because I have my phone set for do not disturb for this live. And this particular credit bureau, so I'm glad that we tried all 3. This one is only giving me the option of a text message or a phone call to get the passcode. And so I can't do either one. So one, we're very lucky that I tried a credit bureau that actually worked at the beginning of this live. The second credit bureau that I tried told me they couldn't do anything at this time to give me my free credit report. And I think they were just being difficult and said, oh, write us a letter and then we'll get you your free credit report. This one asked me my email address and my phone number like the first one that worked, but this one did not say, would you like us to send this to your email? It's only saying text message or phone call. And I don't think that I can get either one because my phone is set on do not disturb. I am going to try text message, but I don't think that this is going to come through. And so now they're waiting on a passcode, but they didn't ask me for my email address, so it's not going to work. So in this live, we've had one credit bureau work. I just happened to pick the correct credit bureau the first time that would work on this live, and it was less than 10 minutes to get that free credit report. This one would have worked had I not been on a live with my phone on Do Not Disturb. So 2 credit bureaus would have worked, and one did not work, but it was still less than 10 minutes each. This one would have given me my report in less than 10 minutes. And that's all I wanted to show you all today in this particular live. I'm going to go back over to my YouTube on my screen so that I can see any chats. As I said, everything is delayed here. Oh, excuse me. Do we have any questions in the chat about credit reports? Because I went through the one credit report that I got in. And Kendi K is saying, thank goodness for 2-factor authentication to protect our financial records. And whether it's email address, text, or a phone call, I use Duo, which is an app. In addition to 2-factor authentication, I use Duo. For some of my colleges, they want me to re-log in and verify my identity monthly, every 3 months, to ensure that I'm still a professor at that college. I'm also a retired federal employee. In order to get into my federal annuity account to see what my pension is, I have to sign in using Duo. So there are multiple different accounts that I use that app for. Now, some people have a password manager. I do not have a password manager. And if you use a password manager and you forget your one code to get into that password manager, all of your passwords you can't access. So be careful and make sure that if you use a password manager, that you know what it is that you're doing and that you remember that master password to get into your password manager. But all of those are very good safety precautions. Always protect your personal identifiable information, protect your credit, and protect your good name. That's the most important thing. You know, one of these things about YouTube is people have a brand. And when you have a brand on YouTube, you want to protect your brand. One of the things that I was told working for the federal courts, because when you work for the federal courts, you can be fired if you embarrass the court. So what we were told is don't do anything that you would not want on the front page of the newspaper. And that's how I run my life. I try not to do anything that would, 1, embarrass the court, but 2, if it was on the front page of the news on the internet, would I want that to be what I did? No. So, but that's me personally. I'm not telling anybody else what to do. I believe in live and let live. So you do whatever you want to do, but this is what I'm going to do, is I'm going to protect my good name and my character, because that's important to me. When I do business with people, I want them to be able to trust me. And so in business, if you can't trust someone, you wouldn't do business with them. And so I really believe in that. We are at 54 minutes because I'm watching the clock, because we are 1 hour. We're going to start on time. We're going to end on time. Every Friday, 10:15 a.m. Central Standard Time. You're online with Fire with Dr. Ninja Turtle. We have gone through our credit report. We've gone through my credit report. I've shown you that it took less than 10 minutes to open a credit report. I also showed you that one of the 3 credit bureaus did not work trying this online for me. It may work for you, but the other one did not work only because I'm doing a live on my cell phone. So had I been sitting here with my cell phone, I could have gotten into 2 of my credit reports in less than 30 minutes. And that's what I want every one of you to do. That's my call to action, is go in and look at your credit report. We're all different. We all have different things. We have a past. I had a past, a very bad credit report past. It took me a while to fix it. And now that I fixed it, I protect it like gold. And that's what I want you to do, is I want you to fix your credit and protect it like gold. I'm checking the chat just to make sure that I haven't missed anything. Make sure that you type fire in the chat. I don't want to forget to say that, because I have Nightbot enabled so that you can put in your link. I also will be able to go back and get this chat to see who all was here. One of the neat features of Nightbot, not to go off on a side tangent, is that it shows you who all was in your chat. And who were the most engaged in your chat. So Nightbot is a very good thing. It takes less than 10 minutes. Again, I have a video on how to set that up. I saw Elevated just a second ago. Hi, Elevated. Thank you for being here. I am supporting your channel. Everybody in my chat, trust me, I'm supporting your channel. I believe in when someone gives you support when you're down. Because I'm a small creator trying to grow my channel, right? You all are with me when I'm at my bottom. As my channel grows, you all are going with me, right? And I'll tell you all this story before I end, because I have to go off on some tiny tangent throughout every live that I go through, is when I met my wife, we got married at a justice of the peace because we didn't want to spend a lot of money on a wedding. But I had no money. I had just finished getting my PhD and I just had no money. I had been working a bunch of jobs that year and stuff like that. And so my wife married me when I had no money. She didn't say, oh, he's financially free, I'll marry him now. No, she was with me when I had nothing. You guys are with me when I'm at the bottom. And as my channel grows, I want you all to grow with me. And I want to support you as your channel grows the same way you've supported me as my channel grows. And that's important to me. It's important to me to be with the people that were with me at the beginning, right? And Life with T, she's been with me at the beginning. Aslan has been with me at the beginning. We're going to ride this. We're going to ride this all the way up. We're riding with Kendi K, right? She broke through 1,000. If she can do it, I can do it. But I'm riding with Kendi K, right? And that's why I'm in her live supporting her, because she came over here and supported me. And she has taught me so much. We're not going to go into that tangent, but I will say before I end, because we are at 58 minutes, before I end this live, thank you all for coming. I'm going to put out a community post that I'll be back in 2 weeks. In this live, we have checked our credit report. It took less than 10 minutes. Not our credit report, my credit report. And you were here watching me. You watched me do this live. For all of you who know how scared I was to start doing lives, can you believe I just did what I did? So thank you all for coming. And remember, never let your past determine your future. I will see you all in 2 weeks.